There's few things in this world better than a dope-ass Grateful Dead t-shirt.
What?
A new dope-ass Grateful Dead t-shirt.
Well,
that's what
that doesn't make any sense, but I'll take it.
Look, I don't make sense a lot of the time, but what does make sense is the coolest Grateful Dead inspired merch on the digital lot ever, made by our friends over at Shop Tour Bus. Go over and check them out at shoptourbus.com or at Shop Tour Bus on Instagram. And hey, what you're going to do when you check out is put in the promo code
No Simple Road as all one word.
Why would I do that?
so you can get free shipping.
Free shipping.
And let me tell you something else about our friends over at Shop Tour Bus. You might even get a miracle in your order.
A miracle bootleg.
That's right, a cassette tape, a real Grateful Dead bootleg that's been traded around the Grateful Dead world for eons, thousands of years.
Just imagine the hands that it's been
It's not
through.
true. Those are some dirty hands. Lots of grilled cheese in those hands. Anyway, go check out what Shop Tour Bus is doing. They have a bunch of new designs up, and they have hoodies, they have t-shirts, they have stickers, they have the coolest hats ever. And yeah, go check them out, shoptourbus.com. No Simple Road is stoked to have Sunset Lake CBD back with us as our sponsor. Sunset Lake is the real deal. If you've looked around trying to find CBD and it just didn't do what it was supposed to do, this is the place you need to go. They've got every kind of product you can imagine, including CBD tinctures with sleep gummies that are great for getting to bed, CBD gummy bears and reishi-infused chews that can help bring you a little bit of calm in a stressful day. They've got salve. They've got smokable hemp flower that's great for folks like me that don't want to get stoned and paranoid but want to have the benefits of cannabis. Well, now you got it. And they even carry CBD products for your pets, man. I'm saying this is Darwin approved stuff. Go over to sunsetlakecbd.com and check out the full range of what they have. This is Vermont grown, right to your door, and they're giving you 20% off. So put in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out. You're going to get 20% off your whole order. And I know you're going to love it. They even have subscription options open for you, so you don't forget to get your medicine. Go check out Sunset Lake CBD, everybody.
No Simple Road. Yeah, here we go.
Bug totally wanted to be on the show, dude.
He had something
He was like,
important
hey,
to say.
man.
Maybe that's what the noise was you were hearing.
He was breathing into
He was
the
like,
mic.
over here at the body. He's like,
Bug was mouth breathing.
chewing gum.
No, I think that was you
burping
breathing into the mic. Hey now, No Simple Road family. This is Aaron.
It's Mel.
And this is Apple.
And Darwin.
And Darwin's holding down the rug.
And not farting, thank God.
I hope not.
Yeah,
That's pointed
sometimes it
right at
gets-
me.
Welcome back to another episode of No Simple Road, everybody. It's almost spring. We haven't sprung yet, but
Not
we're
yet.
getting ready to spring.
About to pop off.
And
Today it felt a little springy for the first time in a long time.
and to celebrate almost spring, our guest on No Simple Road this week is Tyler Ramsey.
Woo!
Yes.
Tyler, thank you so much for being with us.
If you are not familiar with our friend Tyler, you are going to be very happy that we had him on No Simple Road.
That's right.
Just like we are. And now you're going to listen to him all the time too. It's going to be something.
You're about to get familiar. We have a great conversation about a lot of things here.
Mhm.
And we're super excited. He is coming to PDX.
On April 2nd?
Yeah, April 2nd at Polaris Hall.
Yeah.
So
Apple.
we're going to get
what's-
to see him in
Here,
person.
I'll
Yeah,
give
bust it
you
out,
all
dude.
the rundown here real quick. If you want to find out more, which you do, you need to go over to, you can follow him on Instagram at Tyler Ramsey Music and see all the things he's up to there. And then you can also go over to the interwebs and go to tylerramsey.com. And that's where you can find all the tour dates and everything. And he's getting ready to hit the entire country. He's going to be all over the place.
Heck yeah.
Texas, California, Washington, like Mel said, coming to Oregon, dates in Colorado, Missouri. They just go on and on. Many festivals.
When does it kick off?
March 15th.
Okay, right on. So
Yeah.
coming up.
March 15th, and he's got dates posted all the way through May. Playing, I love the last one, May, the Albino Skunk Music Festival in South Carolina.
Because why wouldn't you play the Albino Skunk Music Festival?
And then I also want to encourage everybody, go listen to the new album that came out, New Lost Ages. And there are 3 exceptional videos that are from that album. Everybody, you can go see those on YouTube. They're at many places, and the one Flare,
that
the
was
tribute to
all of
Neil
our
Casal, is just such a beautiful song. And then in the video, he's like playing acoustically out on a rowboat on a lake.
And
it is beautiful.
His friend Parker Pfister was the videographer and photographer for that. So just a shout out to him, because they make amazing music and videography together.
Yeah, it's definitely a cinematic adventure.
Yes.
in that. And you know what, man? I've said this plenty of times here on No Simple Road, but one of my favorite parts of having the honor of doing this show is introducing all of you that are listening to really dope ass new music.
Yeah.
And Tyler is definitely falls into that category. I'm really, really excited for those of you that don't know who he is to get to know him a little bit.
But he's been around for a while, so he's new to us, but he may or may not be new to y'all.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. If you didn't know who he was, now you're stoked. You have somebody new to listen to, and if you did know who he is, now you get to know him a little bit and see the heart behind the music that you've been listening to. He used to be in Band of Horses.
Yeah, until 2017.
And is doing his solo thing now. So you may know him from that. But man, this is a seriously like salt of the earth human being here. And I'm really excited for you all to hear this conversation with Tyler.
And one last suggestion, I highly suggest going back. I've gone down through his albums he's put out before, and the song Firewood on the album 2019 is really cool.
Yeah, it is.
We talk about it in the interview. You'll hear it.
All right. So
or the conversation.
I want to run something by
good
all
catch,
of
Apple.
good catch, Apple. I want to run something by all of you. Actually, Apple and Mel haven't heard this idea yet. But if you are a regular listener of No Simple Road, I feel like you have a seat at the table as far as like when we have ideas about doing stuff, you guys get a say in what goes on with the show. Some. I've been thinking about adding something to our weekly output of No Simple Road. Like maybe 15-minute episodes of just random thoughts during the week. I have stuff that like comes up in my head during the week that I'm like, that would be really cool to talk about on the show, but there's never
not
like,
enough.
For an episode. It's not enough for an episode, and it wouldn't warrant a conversation between all of us. It would just be
like on the rewind to do an hour.
Yeah,
about
no,
your random thought.
But just like this has been going through my head this week.
I like that idea because I remember we tried that one time a few years back of like each recording something. Like I remember I did one time driving to work.
Yeah, we used to do the No Simple Ride.
Yeah.
I would record stuff while we were driving to work. Yep.
Yeah, it's a good idea because we have stuff popping into our heads all the time, and if you don't nail it down and talk about it, it escapes.
What do you think, Mel?
Well, I just it sounds like it was something that could have been / would have been that we talked about on our Patreon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like making posts of whatever's on your mind, whatever's on your day, like something that you're interested in, some cool thing you found out about.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, why not? More content is always, I mean, unless it's crappy content.
Unless I'm on there just
but
like,
generally,
my stomach hurts.
I'm going to talk about it for 15
I went to the
minutes.
dentist. Yeah. No, nobody wants to hear that shit.
Well, yeah, sometimes you got a, epiphany at a dentist or something.
I went to the dentist. I didn't have an epiphany. Anyway,
well, we do.
It was just a thought.
The three of us have things come up all the way, which we usually talk about out on the patio or something. So yeah, like sharing it like with the listeners,
right?
And it's a surprise to each other. I like that when like I don't know what you're talking about, and all of a sudden,
yeah.
boom.
Well, I like that idea because I've been thinking about that as far as like when I go back in my journals, I'm like, gosh, that is really heady. I think that would be cool to read. And then I just kind of forget about it.
Like this is a really weird, heavy example, but I've been thinking about death a lot lately.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, in a future episode that we have coming out, we talk to a death doula.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so
stay tuned for that.
I've just had some thoughts. And the other day I was in here, I was working, and I was like, wow, I could just get on the mic and spill everything that's going through my head right now and then put it up. But anyway, it was just a thought. I'd love to hear what everybody out there thinks about the idea. Shoot me an email at info@nosimpleroad.com. Say, hey, Aaron, I heard the episode with Tyler Ramsey, and in the intro you talked about blah, 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 and I think it sucks, or I think it's cool, or whatever. You have a say here at the table at No Simple Road is what I'm trying to get across, and I'd love to hear your thoughts.
If I was a listener, I'd be like, well, try it out, and I'll let you know if it sucks.
Yeah. Okay. There's Apple's email. All right, everybody, here's the business. Follow us on the social medias at No Simple Road if you don't already. Go over to our website, get some merch, get a tarot reading. What else? Help me out, folks.
You're on our website?
Yeah, I got to the website.
Yeah, and then you can, I don't know.
Stuck too. Go to patreon.com/No Simple Road, man. That is how we pay for all the stuff that we need to do on the show besides sponsors. And so, look, 2024, here's the new deal. If you listen to No Simple Road twice a week, if you're one of those people that
waits for the episode to drop
and then listens to the rewind every week, throw a buck down every month to help us out. Go to patreon.com/No Simple Road. Throw down a buck. You get all the episodes a little bit early, ad free. You get a bunch of extra content, and you get to feel good because you're helping out the family.
I was going to say one thing with Patreon too, because I'm like doing the cinematic adventures, weed reviews, different things we throw up there. If anybody, same thing. If you want to hear something or have a suggestion or something, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do it. Well, sometimes we put stuff up on Patreon, and I know people are seeing it, but like you don't know. It's different on Patreon, kind of like in Instagram. You don't. If there's no comments or nobody likes it, it's like, okay, did anybody even see it?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the whole Patreon thing. We're asking everybody that listens to the show to pony up $1. If you all would do that, I quit my job and just do No Simple Road and give you so much content that you'd be sick of us. So please do that
and get sick of us.
.com/No Simple Road.
And then you can go over to Apple Podcasts, or not just there, anywhere you can leave a review.
True.
You hit the 5 stars or the likes or the whatever, smiley faces and things, so people can learn about us. That gets us in the algorithm, gets them in front of other people. You all know how this works. No new ones right now.
That's right.
That's all right. Yeah, that's all good.
Hey, I appreciate all of you that have left a review. And for those of you in the future that are about to leave a review, love you. Thanks so much. And you can call 971-808-1524. That is the No Simple Road tepid line. Yes, your 3 minutes of fame. We'll put you on the show. Just be coherent and have good sound. And, and we got you, man.
That's all we ask. The content, you can say whatever you need to say, but it's got to be coherent, and we got to be loud enough.
Make sure your signal's strong and everything's working good, and that's how you do it.
Yeah. And last but not least, tell somebody you love about No Simple Road.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is the bread and butter of the No Simple Road multiverse. That is how we spread the mycelial network of the community that we're building here. And I hope you all know how much y'all mean to us, man.
Yeah.
Because without you, our lives would be weird.
We'd just be talking to each other out on the front porch still with no mics or anything.
So...
one last thing. We would be remiss if we didn't talking about community, if we did not wish Sean from Long Strange Putt
baby,
a very happy birthday.
Let's
another circle around the sun.
Let's hear it for Sean.
Happy belated birthday, baby.
Belated birthday. We love you, brother.
Sean.
Well, it's a birthday month, so
and we have one more birthday that we need to call out. My brother from another mother.
Aw.
My friend Jordan, owner of
JB
Fire on the Mountain Wings. I love you, man. Welcome to the 50 Club. Me and Apple have been here preparing the room for you for a few years. I am so happy that you and I are brothers and friends. You are one of my favorite people on the planet, and you are my second favorite human being to go to shows with ever. And I love you, man. Happy 50th birthday to you, Jordan.
Yeah.
Woo! Can't wait to celebrate with you this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to have fun this weekend.
It's going to be something.
Well, in the spirit of what you were just talking about, of like random thoughts and just kind of like sharing, I'm going to just share something that I wrote before we get to Tyler Ramsey, because I know he's into poetry. This may or may not count as poetry. This is kind of like just like a little one-pager thought. The watering down of the value of time is coming to a close. You can only squander time for a while. After that while, you will see time becomes precious, sought after, scheduled, borrowed even. But make no mistake, that is our valuable commodity. Time to learn, time to enjoy, time to play, time to be. As this waning moon draws closer to the new moon, it is more present than ever just how important it is to get a move on. On what, you ask? It. Get a move on it. Your idea, your projects, yourself, your habits. Get over squandering your time for no thing, because something deserves it.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thanks, Mel. That was beautiful.
You're welcome.
I've been thinking a lot about time too.
Really?
As I've been thinking a lot about death.
That was 11/24/21.
I think a lot about not procrastinating about things, and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
well to that.
Let's
too.
not procrastinate getting them to this
That's
conversation
right.
with Tyler
Yeah.
Ramsey. Everybody, if he comes through your town, go see him here in Portland. He will be here on April 2nd at Polaris Hall.
Come join us.
Go listen to the new album. It is called
The New Lost Stages.
And yeah, man. Is everybody ready?
Ready?
All right, here we
Ready.
go. Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Tyler Ramsey.
I saw a flare out on the scene. Somebody out there signaling. I'm in trouble, help me please. Send someone to save me. On the beach, a gathered crowd. Everyone was looking out, dazzled by the colored clouds. Somebody swim to me. Somebody swim to me.
Unmute and
There we
start.
go.
Yay!
Magical. I'm so good at this stuff.
You are. Look at you go, man.
Figured it out.
Ooh.
What's happening, brother? How you doing, man?
How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm Aaron.
That's awesome. I feel like I just walked into your living room.
You did.
kind of
Welcome
is.
in.
It is one of the living rooms here.
This is great.
Thanks, man.
And I'm Apple.
And,
Apple?
Yes.
And my name is Mel. Tyler, thanks for joining us.
Mel, Apple, and Aaron, right?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Hey, Tyler, for everybody that's going to be listening, why don't you introduce yourself and tell them who you are, what you do, and all that.
All right. Well, my name is Tyler Ramsey. I'm a guitar player, singer-songwriter, piano player. I don't know. There's a piano back there. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, and I play a lot of fingerstyle guitar and write songs and
All that.
played in a lot of bands over the years, and just
Right on, man. Well, thanks for spending Saturday morning with us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Where are you guys based?
Portland, Oregon.
Oh, you are. All
Yes.
right.
Yeah, where are you at, man?
I'm outside of Asheville, North Carolina. So I'm about 20 miles out in the country from
Nice.
Nashville.
That
Nice.
sounds nice.
It looks like a beautiful spot you're in there. Your background, the cabin, it looks like kind of.
There's mornings when I lay in bed and I wake up and the first thing I think of, well, every morning, the first thing I think about is coffee. And I have to say that since Northbound Coffee Roasters came into our life, those days are met with the best coffee I have ever drank in my whole life.
I would have to agree with that.
Apple.
That Coffee Lovers was
Right?
like you said, was special.
Yeah. And we just got some of the Prana too.
I saw that on the cover.
It's their darkest roast. So Northbound Coffee Roasters is a family-owned and operated coffee roastery out of Mount Shasta, California. Keith and Jen, the owners there, have a combined 22 years of coffee experience and over 600 Grateful Dead and Fish shows between the two of them, which is pretty
That's a lot
epic.
of hours in doing something that they love.
Roasting coffee and seeing dope music. Northbound Coffee Roasters specializes in specialty organic coffees with a wide variety of roast profiles. So they do have a roast that fits what you like, believe me. They have a bunch of blends and single origin offerings to match the taste of anybody who enjoys a cup of coffee. So what you need to do, my friend that's listening to No Simple Road right now, is head over to northboundcoffee.com. You can learn more and place your order right now. They ship anywhere in the U.S. and their coffees are always roasted that week, so they're fresh, guaranteed right in your cup. Use the code NOSIMPLEROAD at checkout for free shipping on your first order of any size, anywhere in the U.S. And make sure when you go over there to sign up for their newsletter so that you get all the additional discounts and all the other stuff that's amazing going on at Northbound. Mount Shasta is a special place, and Northbound Coffee is just as special as the place where it's roasted. So go check them out. Be a headlight on the Northbound train.
And be happy like the conductor.
Yeah, this is my. So we moved out here. It's been 7 years now, and we moved from a bigger house into a smaller house, but a little more space around us. We got some land and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but when we moved out, I didn't have anywhere to have my musical world set up. So a friend of mine and I built this building here.
Wow.
So it's like it's like a 16 by 20 little cabin with a bunch of toys in it.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to build it?
It took us a few months. It took like the majority of the summer. Yeah.
What a great way to spend your time.
And how cool, like you built with your own hands the place where you create your music. That's kind of, it's cool.
It felt really big for me. I mean, I'd done a little bit of construction work in the past and, mostly just like being the assistant that didn't really know much of anything. But this time, he really, my friend is a builder and he taught me a lot. And it felt really special to have built this from the ground up and then be able to like open the door and walk into it and have all these things in here. I've got a lot of things in here that I've carried around for years. And, now they're all kind of in one little place, lots of instruments that I've gathered and, artwork and things like that. So it's fun to have a little kind of shrine kind of room for all these.
That's so
for all
cool,
your
man.
things.
Yeah. I have to tell you, man, we just went through, today's like really the first normal day that we've had. We all live together. Mel and I have been married for 26 years. Me and Apple have been friends for 41 years. And
nice.
We all moved from Vegas up here to Portland like 7 years ago.
8 years ago this June.
And we just went through a week. We had like a unprecedented storm here of like snow and ice and had no power since last Saturday. And then it came on for one day and all the pipes burst in the house. We weren't home. The basement flooded. This studio was flooded. We caught it all. A tree fell and hit the roof right over Mel's car. Like everything was almost this week. And
the pipes were not almost.
Well, the pipes weren't almost. And then just before we started recording, Apple,
I played him this. I was like, okay, you need to take this literally because there's a metaphorical meaning in this song. But firewood, I was
Oh, yeah.
reading them like a poem, the lyrics, and it's like, we can keep the winter out. There will be a better day, everything we just went through literally was like in
Who's
that
gonna stay up and
song.
keep the fire going?
That was a thing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. That song, I've lived with wood stoves in my life since I was like 20, and always want to have them around. So it's a big part of my existence, is like keeping the fire burning, keeping the family warm, and but that takes on a whole new.
Yes, we're taking it literally today. Yeah, but
well, I'm glad I could give you some background music for that horrible experience.
Yes, you were the soundtrack to our week with that song.
I appreciate it. So Tyler, tell me about what got you started writing music, man.
Oh, well, let's see. I started when I was a little kid. I took like jazz piano lessons when I was like 9 or 10 or something like that, and really got into like improvising and playing that kind of music. And I kind of pursued that for a really long time. And then at some point I just got like, I got to the point where I just didn't want to like play another solo. Really. Like I was doing a lot of instrumental music, and I was playing like these, I spend the whole night like playing solos on keyboards, and I feel like I said everything I could say in that with my own limitations. Obviously, I'm not like a fantastic keyboard player by any means, but I hit a wall, I think, with that. And I started getting more into, trying to write poetry or write lyrics, and wrote a few songs that I liked, and decided to do that first album, which came out in 2004, I guess, which was recorded in my friend's basement, and still proud of those songs. And once I started doing that and realizing that I was able to do it, I think it just became something that I wanted to hone. And I've been trying to like work on it over the years and get better at it. But I fell in love with that process of like finding a reason to write a song and tapping into like being truthful with my lyrics and expressing like whatever it was that I was going through at the time. And it almost became like it's kind of a therapy sometimes too.
Yeah.
We live in a world where things that didn't used to be allowed are more allowed than they used to be before they weren't.
That's
now
very true, actually.
So what you should do is go check out our sponsor, Melt Premium Mushroom Chocolates. The way you do that is you go to Instagram and you follow at Melt Mushrooms, MELTMUSHROOMS.
You're going to let them know that No Simple Road sent you. And then what they're going to do is they're going to send you a menu of all the goodies that they have. It used to be just chocolate, but they have capsules now. And recently they have added gummies.
And little mini single chocolates.
That's right,
well.
little micros.
Yeah, so like Mel said, shoot them a DM, tell them we sent you, and they are going to give you 30% off your bar. There is, I think, 10 different flavors now.
Yeah, it goes between 9 and 10, depending on what's going on.
Yeah, and not only is the chocolate delicious, but each bar has 4 grams of their sacred mushroom blend, wink, wink, and a bunch of adaptogens to make those, sacred mushrooms do what they're supposed to do. And hey, check this out. They're shipping right to you. So go follow them on Instagram, shoot them a DM, like Mel said. They'll send you the menu, tell them we sent you. You get a whole deal with them, and you could microdose, macrodose, whatever, middle dose.
There's so many options
up
now.
Dose, down dose, I don't know, dose with the Melt Premium Mushroom Chocolate.
Delicious.
Totally understand that. Yeah, I would think that it's a completely different game though, from standing behind a keyboard and doing what you were doing there, and then stepping out on the ledge with your poetry in music. That's a different thing. Like, you're exposing yourself in a completely different way. Was it difficult in the beginning to like rationalize that juxtaposition of those two things?
I mean, it was in a way. At the time I was just playing in, anywhere I could play. So I was playing like bars and restaurants and sometimes on the street. And, coffee shops, things like that. So lots of times people wouldn't really be paying tons of attention anyway. So I felt like I could get away with trying to work on stuff in front of people somehow. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy. It definitely took like a leap of kind of faith for me to be like, all right, this is what I'm going to do now. And kind of shut down, the little band I was playing in before, and just started focusing on me and the guitar and trying to sing and stuff like that.
Is that after Band of Horses?
No, this is way before Band of Horses.
Okay.
Before this was probably 2002. I started really like writing some of the songs that were on that first little record, that self-titled record that I put out.
Okay.
So yeah, it was not that far before Band of Horses, for that, I had already recorded my second record, which was more like done in a studio. There's a record called A Long Dream About Swimming Across the Sea that I put out. And I recorded that here in Asheville at like a proper, big studio called Echo Mountain. That's, pretty big in this town.
Okay.
So I had been working on that, and that's when I met those guys. They came in and they were working on I think they were finishing Cease to Begin, that second record that they did. And I met them during that at that time, and I had kind of I think they got a copy of my record from the studio manager, and we started hitting it off. And not too long after that, when my record came out, I was already touring with those guys, doing shows for Cease to Begin.
Do you like the tour life? Do you like being on the road and stuff?
Oh man. It can be good. I think it took me a really, really way too long of a time to realize how to do it in a way that I still felt like a human being, I think it's a really hard way to live. I mean, it's exhausting. It's, and even if you're doing it, Band of Horses was doing it pretty comfy, but still we were so busy that you're just being shuttled around, and you're not really seeing the places that you're traveling through. And, you wake up to play the show and you go to sleep and before the sun comes up, and you wake up in a parking lot and you go in and do another. It can be really rough, but if you start to dial it in, which I finally did, I was taking advantage of, I would spend my days off, getting out into the woods. I would maybe rent a car or do a car share, whatever those apps were that you could find a car in your town. And I would get out to a trail somewhere and hike and try to stay really connected in that way, rather than staying at the hotel or wherever it was we were spending our days off. Because it's always when you're on tour, you're also always in the city. You're always going to where the venue is, and that's always in the center of the town. And after a while, there's not a lot to keep you grounded. You're either walking around spending money, or you're getting out of there and going out in the woods. And that's one of the key elements I think I found was that I needed to do that to feel like I was still living a normal life.
So what's the payoff when you kind of get all of those, ducks in a row? Okay, I feel good about this or whatever. I'm taking a car out. What's the payoff personally for you, when you're living that life and you can finally find a balance?
The payoff. I mean, I love playing music for people, but that's the payoff really is
it's always that.
I don't know if that answers the question, but it does. I don't mean it to sound silly or whatever. It's those little windows of time when you've spent 22 hours waiting for the show, and then you get to play the show, and I mean, you can live off that energy for a long time, like that little window of time where you're doing what you're there for, you know?
Yeah, no, I've asked that before, and it always is that answer. Like it's the music. I have to do this. It's always goes back to the literal performance aspect when you're in front of people, and it doesn't matter how shitty the road was before you got there. It's that moment. And so I just, I wonder, because you're saying it's true. It's still,
I think it would be tough too, man. Like your whole like visual existence is roads, gas stations, hotels, and bars and venues. And that's it. And if you're not connecting to something deeper, I would think you could feel unmoored, like completely adrift in the world. Like a specter floating through everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think a lot, or at least at the time would think about like, it felt like kind of being a vampire in a way.
Yeah, no, I get it. Totally.
If you're traveling a bus and you're getting into your little box to go to sleep, and they shuttle you to the next place and they pull you out, and you turn on and you do what you do. Yeah, totally. Those visuals are heavy after a while, I had that song Dream of Home, which people really connected with. A lot of musicians connect with that song because of that. I mean, I think it's a common feeling that there's something missing from that life, and there's a lot missing from it, but there's also a lot missing from the life of sitting behind a desk for,
telling me.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that the song kind of segued into what I was going to ask. We talked about like being on the road, and we hear so much. We need to visit Asheville. We hear from so many people about Asheville, and we're not sold yet. So I was just wondering what it is that makes Asheville so special to you, that you've settled there, built your studio now, and what is it about Asheville to you?
It's terrible here. No one should come here.
I get it. That's same with Portland.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I know. No, I'm kidding. I love it here. I've been here, I've been here since the early 90s. I kind of just came over to go to school and in the area, I was in Brevard, and I've stuck around basically the whole time. I mean, I've ducked out for small periods of time, but it's for me. I need mountains. I don't know. I don't think I could live in a flat place.
Yes.
And we've got some nice, we've got nice mountains here, and the town itself. I mean, Asheville was huge for me years ago. It was like the center of my life. Like I lived downtown back when people could still afford to live downtown. It was like a lot of my friends were living in little weird apartments down there, and like it was a lot of artists and musicians, and it had that kind of vibe to it. Like we owned the place at some point. It doesn't feel that way anymore. It's still a beautiful town. It's gotten a little overdone, like a lot of town,
Yep.
A lot of places have, there's a lot of those little apartment buildings going up super fast, and tons of hotels came in, and it's really, really gotten pushed into like super touristy, but it still has its heart. I think I can still see why I love it through the changes. But mostly now it's like I came out here with my family. We're out here. We can go to town if we want to, or if we need to go to the grocery store, but I don't have to be there all the time. And
that's nice.
I've got a 9.5-year-old daughter and a 2.5-year-old son, so we don't. I'm not like going out to see shows that much at this point.
You're doing dad stuff,
out at bars or anything like that. Life has shifted quite a bit, and we found ourselves kind of in a place where we can live the life that we want to be living right now, which is cool.
Do you feel like the stuff that you're writing for the new album reflects your reality that you're in right now as a dad and a musician?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would be able to write songs that weren't reflecting whatever moment I'm in. You know, I'm not really, I'm not like a character writer. I don't like write from other people's point of view a lot, or maybe even ever. I don't know. I feel like what I do is try and sort through my particular moment that I'm in, and if it feels like it's worth exploring, then I'll try and write a song about it. So yeah, this whole record is really reflects, you know, the last few years of our life. You know,
there's a song on this album, Flare, and Neil was a very huge part of the beginning of No Simple Road for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We were huge Neil fans and CRB fans before we ever started No Simple Road. And the first like big festival that we ever did as a podcast together was High Sierra, and the CRB was playing, and we got to sit with Neil for an hour and a half alone in this like big warehouse and just hang out and talk and get to know each other. And he made a really big impact on me personally with something that he said to me about, you know, I write poetry and songs and stuff. I was like, yeah, I never show them to anyone. And he was like, hey man, you need to show that stuff to people. It could save somebody's life someday.
Yeah.
And then a year or so later, he was gone. And I'm curious what your connection to Neil was and how you guys knew each other, and talk about Flare a little bit.
So I was in Asheville, actually, at my friend's guitar shop, which I go to every once in a while, and just visiting them. And I think Neil and Circles Around the Sun came walking in with their manager, and they were in town. I can't remember where they were playing. I think they were playing at this place called the Gray Eagle. But they came walking in, and I had met their manager somewhere along the road, and he recognized me, and we talked for a second. He's like, hey, let me introduce you to the guys. So like got to meet all those dudes. And I can't remember what happened. I think shortly after that, like whoever was going to open the next 5 or so shows canceled on them for whatever reason. And so he reached out and asked me if I wanted to do that, go out and open for them.
Wow.
So I was like, well, it's not, the perfect match, like musically what I do and what they do. But I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Let me at it. And so we went out, and I can't remember where the first show was, but we ended up, we did like 5 shows together. And just right away, man, he was, not only him, but all the guys in the band were really sweet to me. And I felt really welcome. And it was, me feeling awkward about what I was bringing to their show,
right.
And they were so supportive, and it got to a point where we were really like feeling like kind of brothers after a second, joking around a lot. And then he would like check in on me. He was texting me a few times, like, cause I was driving by myself and they were in a bus and I was in my band. So he would I had a couple really long drives, and he would, send me a text message. And I feel like what happened was maybe similar to what happened with you guys. Was like, man, this guy's really cool and really welcoming and a warm human. And I was already thinking like, oh, I want to get him to play on my next record, or I want to get him to maybe even produce the next record. And he was like really loving what I was doing. He would sit out and watch me do my opening set, and just compliment me after the shows. And So yeah, it felt like I'd met a new friend that I was hoping to, hook up with down the road and work on something together. And then yeah, that last show I think I played with was in Indiana somewhere, and I had to drive all the way to Woodstock to play some festival by myself, and it was like it was the longest drive I've ever done.
Oh wow!
And he was checking in on me the whole time, and I think that was probably the last text I got from him, was like letting him know that I had made it safe, and he was like thumbs up. So, so. Sorry, I'm rambling a lot, but
that's what a podcast is. Ramble on.
I think what a podcast
is. Yes, yeah.
we asked for these stories.
I'm trying to keep the story straight. So, fast forward to me. A lot of times when I go write, I'll go write in cabins or try to get away from my house, just because it's, distractions are hard to resist when you're, when you get frustrated with something you're working on. Your instinct is to mine is to walk up to the house and see how the kids are doing or whatever, which happens a lot. So yeah, I'll duck out and go rent a cabin, or in this case, I was staying in a really cheap beach condo that I'd found, and had 4 days booked there or something, and was working on songs when I found out about Neil. And yeah, it was a weird connection that happened, because I was sitting out on the deck or whatever, looking out at the water, and the sun was going down, and I actually thought I had seen a flare go off in the ocean, and I was like, man, I wonder, do I need to do something about that? Maybe no one saw that except for me, and maybe I should call and just let somebody know that possibly I'd seen someone signaling for help out there. So I called the local fire department, I think, or the cops or something, and just said, hey, I think I might have just seen a signal. I'm not even sure if I did, but maybe someone could come check it out. And then the sun goes down, and I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. But I started connecting that to, the way Neil kind of chose to go out, and a lot of people. I mean, I've known other friends that had taken their own lives, and started thinking about people that are sending signals maybe for help, and whether or not you see them, or and if you do. If you are able to pick up on those signals, what are you supposed to do to help people? How can you reach out and help someone that might have let you know that something's not right in their world or whatever. So it was just things came together, and that song made sense to write. So
it's incredibly beautiful. It's incredibly beautiful song, man.
Thank you.
I when I saw the title of the song, I was almost afraid to listen. I was like, oh no, here we go. And yeah, it
says so much too, and you can apply it to many things. I was listening to it, thinking about our situation, that we had just gone through, and we're in this house and nobody could really get to us. It's icy, we're dark, and come help. We need help, but there's really nothing also that people can do sometimes,
right.
Sometimes people make their decision, and the flare is I'm done,
Yeah, no, sometimes that's another thing, is sometimes people don't ever ask for help, so.
Absolutely.
Have you always been somebody that has to connect with nature to stay sane and grounded? Because not everybody's like that. That's not everybody's.
Some people are city.
They want to go exercise or go do hot yoga in a room with a bunch of sweaty people or whatever. Has that always been your thing?
Yeah, I crave solitude a lot. I need it. And it's, it's been challenged. There have been challenges with that over the years, a lot, being in a tour bus with a band for 10 years.
Yeah.
It makes it really hard and to get that space. But also, even having a family, it's
That's
like,
what I was going to say. How do you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's my dilemma now, is like, when do I draw the line and say, I need some time to myself? It's hard for me to do that, but that's always, that's always been something that I feel like makes me, it kind of brings me back to myself, like this baseline of what I am. If I can have enough time on my own and process things, then I feel better. So that's kind of.
If you're trying to eat better, we made it easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to go in just, guess what, 2 minutes. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and even Keto. And there's more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled up and feeling good all day long. So what are you waiting for? Get started today and get after your goals, man. They have 2-minute meals that fuel you up fast with Factor's restaurant-quality meals that are ready to heat and eat wherever you are. They are flexible with your schedule, so you get as much as you need really fast, and Factor really does it right. It's the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, premium options with no cooking required. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to head to factormeals.com/NoSimpleRoad50 and use the coupon code NoSimpleRoad50 to get 50% off. That's code NoSimpleRoad50 at factormeals.com/NoSimpleRoad50 and get 50% off. Look, not many places are giving you 50% off. Go try it. You're going to love it. You get it for half off. It's a whole thing. Go check out Factor.
Well, it's like the video for Flare, where you do that what's a spontaneous acoustic.
Oh yeah,
whatever. That was amazing, because that video teared me up, gave me chills, but also like hope and comfort all at the same time. Like what you just said, we all crave our solitude, and like on that, it really highlight like all alone out in the lake. But there's also, it's like sad loneliness, but also that can be so comforting to be all alone out in nature like that. That video just, man, really. I just got goosebumps just like thinking about it again. What a pairing with that song.
What was how did that come about, Tyler?
So that my friend Parker Pfister, who's an incredible photographer, we had done a couple of photo shoots for this album. So like a lot of the promo photos are his work, things that you'll see on flyers for shows and stuff like that is Parker Pfister. But we were talking about, we kind of hit it off when we were out doing photo shoots, and I was like enjoying myself, which doesn't normally happen. Situations. But his creative energy was just like, getting me fired up, and we were just having a great time. So I think at some point we just decided to try and film a couple songs, and we came up with this plan. It seems like every time we get together, it's always before the sun comes up. So we end up, the photo shoots were like up on the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is like right over there.
Okay.
But we had to get up there, before the sun came up, because he wanted that light, so we're in his van driving up the mountain, and it was like raining lightly, and we did the photo shoot in the rain all day, had a blast, came back down and started talking about videos, and then we ended up doing that one at this lake that's not far away from where I live, and got there, in the dark, and
nobody's there.
But nobody was there.
It's so cool.
Put my guitar and a little recorder in the canoe, or in the little metal boat, and started paddling out, and he was on a dock, and just filming from there, and doing some drone stuff as well. It was really wild. He's a really fantastic creative force.
Do you enjoy that stuff? Doing that stuff?
Normally it makes me pretty uncomfortable, but somehow with him, it just it felt easy, because kind of like gets like a little kid, and he just sees something. He sees like a new, perspective on where we're sitting, and he's like, hustling to get over there before he loses the light. And it was just really fun to be a part of that.
Gets you excited.
Yeah.
No, was he also involved in these ghosts video? Or
he's the one that did that video.
Okay, I was gonna say the cinematography like on it seemed very similar. I just didn't see the credits on that.
Yeah, he and I had a couple meetings about that, and then he's just started like he wanted to know the story of the song and listened to it a bunch and just really dove into it, and then kind of came up with these locations and came up with a plan to have the extras, the people that we had involved. And I think it turned out really cool. It was fun.
You all collaborate well together. I'm sure you're going to say, keep working with him.
Yeah.
He's amazing. You two together, he just captures like what you're putting across with what he's putting across. It's just beautiful.
Tyler, I wonder, you've been in the industry seemingly your entire career. What are some of the differences from, when you first started out and, in the industry versus now, like what you have to do and how your music comes out, and even how you like press, release, all of these kinds of things. There's so many. How do you do it now versus back then?
Man, yeah, it's gotten to be a lot.
That's why I asked, because I know that there's like we're talking about, you have like this personal relationship, with Parker. If someone doesn't have that, that's another aspect of their career that they have to kind of get up, unless they're, if they're with somebody like some major record label, that's a whole different story. But like when you're like independent, singer-songwriter, you have to like be so resourceful and count on a lot of people to lean on and to really bring your work to its fullest, and that's not an easy task. You're dealing with other people's, schedules or preferences or ideas. And so, I say that because Flare seems like such a complete project. It feels like perfectly written, perfectly shot, like, the message, everything is so amazing. And so like, that's hard to get on your own. It's hard, like something like that is really hard to attain on your own. And so I just wonder how you do it, man.
I mean, it's really, it's kind of blowing my mind how much is involved these days in putting even a song out, much less a whole album worth of stuff. How much you have to stay on top of content, which I can't stand that word, but it's like everyone wants that. You have to have update, or it's got to be like heavy social media involvement, and you have to tease things, all these things that we do. I think. I mean, in my opinion, I think it really is detrimental to creativity and music in general. I think it's not an environment where the best music is being like freely released into the world. There's just so many hurdles you have to go over to even just get your music out into the world, that it's I think it holds people back, and it slows down the process as well.
Yeah,
I feel like I might have been well into another record by now.
If it would have been easier.
I always feel that way, because the way that the cycles are set up, like you write, you record your album, and then the long road to like release day or whatever, and then you're out on the road promoting it. It's a wild process that just repeats over and over again. And I think it's gotten more complicated even in the last couple of years, where it's, there's just more to like teasing songs and putting out, social media content and reposting, and I don't know. There's a lot to it that isn't exactly why I got into this in the first place.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and then things lose relevancy so quickly too. Like, you're working a full year maybe on putting the songs out, getting it just right, mixing it, studio, like you said. And then by the you release it, and then like people are like, okay, where's your new stuff? You know, it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I just put that out.
Give it a second, man.
Yeah,
Let it settle.
Quick turnover. People are like bored with things really quickly. Yeah, unfortunately, and that same environment, I think, is causing that phenomenon too. Is like people are always looking for what's next, and their attention is pretty small.
Even today, I was noticing like, and this isn't the first time I thought this, but like our friend Andy Frasco. He's a musician. He also does a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He has to make a commercial basically on Instagram for every show.
Yeah.
Like, and it's got to be, his thing is like, witty, funny, silly, whatever. It's got to be like kind of over the top every time. And that's exhausting. You're not just playing music. Now you're an Instagram celebrity too, on top of everything else.
Influencer.
And God forbid that you don't post every day, because now the algorithm's not going to pick you up, and a million different silly things that were never part of the game before. And like you said, like you didn't get into writing. You don't write music because you wanted to be famous on Instagram.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or because, I never expected I would have to like make little videos for every single show that I'm going to go play. And like, things like that, that are, it's part of the thing now, but it's like, it's not what I expected to have happen. And you don't have to play that game necessarily, but
you
it
helps.
I mean,
do when you don't.
If you don't, you're maybe just playing in your own town and playing, I don't know. I'm constantly trying to figure out how to navigate it and make it feel okay. I'd much rather be spending my days like down here playing guitar,
music,
piano, writing, or but there's a lot of things you have to do to keep the ball rolling in this weird world we've created.
It is weird, Tyler.
And so social media, I know, like Aaron does the social media for No Simple Road, and he's gotten really good at it. But he say, it's like another like part-time, full-time job sometimes, and then it gets very discouraging sometimes too. Like when you put a whole lot into a post and you get like 50 likes, and then you see somebody that runs into a sliding glass door and hurts themselves, and 3 million people love it. Yeah, and it's like the social media world is just so nuts, but you got to keep.
I was telling him, like, I can post a picture of this coffee cup sitting on the table, and there'll be 2,000 people that love it, and we'll do some like amazing clip of an interview that we did with awesome, like my favorite thing somebody ever said, and 4 people are like, cool. Like, what?
That makes no sense.
No, I don't get it. And you know what? I'm glad I don't understand that. I'm with you. Like it's a necessary thing that we have to do now to do the things that we're doing, and I get it, and that's as far as it goes. And I feel like there's 2 kinds of people in the world now, that we're in a different kind of space. There's people that can connect deeply with that thing, whatever it is. And there's those of us that are like kind of weirded out by the whole trip that's going on.
When you grow up with it, I mean, there's a whole generation now that has grown up with it. And so, we're all over 40 here and over 45. Okay, we're all over 45.
I'm all over 40.
But like, that wasn't part of our life. We had to adapt into it, and we're still learning how to be in it. Whereas these younger generation, there's never been a separation. So it's part of them. They understand it. They get it. And I think that part of what we're all going through is like that kind of evolution struggle. It's evolving into something that evolution doesn't just happen like, oh, that's it. Okay, it's all done.
Now the unicorn has a horn.
Yeah, there's a struggle that happens. There's a breaking or a tearing or some kind of stretching that happens. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? Who cares? Let's just go full bore. Let's do it. It doesn't matter. Like, let's get into the whole fucking, internet universe. And then the next thing I'm like, this is so fucking exhausting, because it's like, it feels like pouring water into a bottomless cup, you know. It, like, you see you're getting headway because a lot of water went through, but it was a trick because it was just backed up a little bit, and it's just immediately now it's gone again, and it's so it feels unending. Totally. And I think for people maybe 45 and older, it did seem to have an end. When you put out your album, you put out your product, you know, your whatever it was, your painting, your art, people loved it for a while. That CD was in your car for months, and you know, you couldn't wait to hear it on the radio, and like, oh my God, he's coming to our town. Let's grab our friends and let's go do it. Now it just, you know, there's so much of everything that it's like, you know, you get that kind of like decision fatigue, you know. You're like, never mind, I'm gonna go take a nap.
I'll tell you, there's something that I've found in this kind of weird in between time while I had been waiting for, you know, the album and the tour and all that stuff, is that I have a friend here in town that is just the kind of person that connects people to other people, and like she started like, you know, asking me if I wanted to do house shows and things like that. And I started finding like this path into something that doesn't involve all that shit. So like I started finding like these smaller events and these really like human connected feelings of like, I'm playing music for a living room full of 25 people or 30 people, or I'm going out to someone's farm up in Hot Springs and playing for 40 people in a barn, you know. And it didn't require me to like do that much of the dance of, you know, social media stuff. I feel like it's pushing some people, maybe even me, to seek out something that's more real, like a real connection, you know. Yes. That's maybe getting lost. Even, you know, sometimes playing in venues and regular venues can be not as satisfying as I used to feel, because I think people are just like so used to like so much all the time that it doesn't connect the same way it does that maybe it used to. I don't know.
No, well, I think you're right on. You're right on. Yeah. Because first of all, you would know because you're the one playing and feeling, and because you've been doing it for so long, you know what you used to feel. You know, like as a musician grows in his craft, they get better. You fine tune yourself, or you get deeper, or whatever it is. So, I mean, at this point, you know, going to a 30-person house show where people are literally looking at you in the eye and like hearing
there's a
those
deeper
lyrics.
level of listening.
So
when,
you know,
when there's not a whole bunch of people, it's a different level of listening.
Yeah,
it's more intense.
And when it's not in a typical environment as well, it is special. It's just an interesting difference, because I'm getting ready to go play like 30 shows on the road and do a bunch of touring, and I'm excited about that as well. Like I'm going to go to places I haven't been in a long time, and I know it's going to have that same magic. But
thank you for coming out here.
You're coming out here?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Totally.
April 2nd in Portland.
Right on.
Oh, dope. Okay, cool.
You guys better be there. You better be there.
We will be there.
Believe me.
But yeah, so I think there's something in there. Like there's some thing that I'm starting to track down about like just connecting with people in a way that maybe doesn't involve social media.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's so important,
both, right? Like doing what you can for social media, but also seeking out these
and
other
not get burned out
opportunities.
Yeah, good healthy balance.
Yeah, that personal connection, like that's part of my show almost. It's like I feel like things like connecting with an audience is such a magical thing. And like even I love talking to people after shows too. So like getting to travel around and play shows and meet a bunch of people and, you know, kind of hear, I don't know, community is becoming important to me again. And
it's
huge. With the small shows too, like the settings like that. I love that too, because it puts, when you're playing to 30 people, it's also putting the audience in the spotlight. You know,
Oh,
there's not 1,000 people where you're just lost in the mix and you can talk about work to your friend. It's much more respectful.
Oh yeah,
and very connective because everybody's kind of in the spotlight, which is amazing.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, sometimes I don't. I'm not a fan of going to giant shows, like standing in a crowd that most people are talking the whole time or whatever. I never really have been, but sometimes I don't quite know why people are at those shows, you know, like
we've asked ourselves the same question.
It doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes.
Well, one reason is because of that collective energy, you know, when you know, you get up there and somebody like yourself is on fire about their heart and what they did, and like everyone's feeling it, and it feels good to feel that
community,
the community, on a mass scale. But you know, I'm just saying that because we love fish.
I felt that feeling before. I think the more, I think living out here and having kids, I'm just like, oh, what is that world like? You know, last big show I went to was I went and saw My Morning Jacket here in Asheville. Friends of mine, I'm buddies with Carl. We do some music together.
Oh yeah.
But I went and watched them and like stood way back in the back of the crowd, and just like half the people were paying zero attention to that show, you know, like so they were just there. I'm like, so maybe maybe you're just absorbing the energy of the crowd or whatever. But I'm just like, maybe put your phone down and
maybe be into the
music. We've got a name for them in the fish community. They're called chompers. Like,
they're just there to get there.
Just to talk the whole time. Like, oh God, I got one behind me, man. Oh no.
Oh no. Time to move somewhere else.
You know, you said something a little while ago about the world being weird. And it is. The world that we're in right now is a weird place to be. I mean, even us having this discussion about social media and what artists and musicians have to do in order to make a living now, it's weird. It is.
Yeah.
Do you think, would you consider yourself a hopeful person? As far as that is concerned, like where we are as humanity?
I feel like having children, I have to find the hope. You know, I've got
right
to.
On,
like,
Dad. That's a great.
You know, I can't walk around, mope around and be negative all the time around them, because I don't want them to have a life where their beginning was like hearing their dad like say I was all going to hell or whatever. You know, it's like,
okay, so what kind of stuff does Dad say to a 9-year-old? I mean, maybe 2's a little bit early, but a 9-year-old, that they're kind of aware. They see what's happening. Maybe they're not teenagers in the sense of fully grasping everything, but they can feel energy and they can see what's going on, and they're not going to school if there's some weird pandemic. Like, how do you, what do you say to your beautiful little daughter that's just facing all this stuff?
I mean, really what we try to do is foster an environment that is allowing her just to stay a kid as long as possible. Yeah, so like we want her to like play and be in her imagination. I mean, my wife is a doll maker. I'm a musician. You know, we have this world that we live in that allows us all to kind of live in our imaginations in a way.
Yeah, magic.
So we try and foster that and just play as much as possible. You know, there's not, we don't have a TV going on up there. We don't like watch the news. We don't listen to the news with them in the room because you can't anymore. Even like, NPR. I remember maybe there was a time where you could like have that on in the background, but I'm not trying to shield them from the world because I don't want that either. I don't want them to wake up someday and go, "What? Wait a minute, they didn't tell us what the reality of this place is." But also, I just want to keep childhood for them sacred, kind of. We talk. I mean, she hears me in the car complaining about, how they cut down all the trees in that field and they're putting up these condos, like I sometimes I can't hold back, especially like environmental things kind of really get to me. But we always try and talk through things and not leave it just like me ranting.
I appreciate you sharing that, because first of all, I know it's not easy. Aaron and I have 2 children, adult children, and we have a grandchild. And so he's at that perfect age where he's picking things up and sees things and, understands things and like
sharp.
Just kind of like you said, I don't want to bring this doom and gloom kind of attitude toward him when he's seeing the light in bright eyes, and just kind of not understanding or caring what's happening. And so, it's imperative for not just parents, but adults to have that kind of, allowing kids to have that childhood and be sacred, but also like giving them a hope based on our energy and how we process things around them.
We used to say when our kids were little, they only get this one time. You only get to be a kid once, man. Do it as long as you possibly can.
But even like with our adult, I find it a little bit challenging with like our adult children to be straight up with them about like, okay, it's gonna be great, and they're like looking at us like,
see through that, mom and dad.
I don't know. But that's hard too when you have a 21-year-old who's trying to make his life and doesn't understand the point of any of it because of looking around and you're trying to give him this, like talk, this good parental talk, and they're like, yeah, it's just not coming. It's not hitting
looking
how
at you like, good try.
Yeah, it's
nice
not hitting,
try.
Mom.
And then the thing that really sucks is he's right.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, their son is right most of the time with his views on the world.
I think you hit the nail on the head though, Tyler. The imagination is the place.
Yes.
Because that's where the magic comes from, and that's how it gets from wherever it lives out, wherever into the world that we live in. So the longer we can remain in imagination and play, the more good stuff can come into the world, like your music.
Well, yeah.
And that's what live music
that can go for all of us. I mean, we can all have that, and we can get that from our children too. We can live in that world together, and it feeds us.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
Live music, going to live music and seeing show is what we all, it's like all of our like fountain of youth. You can go there and be a child again and connect with that and step out of this world for a very sweet amount of time.
And, we were talking earlier about all the, the heartaches and all the hard things that you have to do to be an entertainer or a musician right now or an artist. But I feel as if being an artist is more important now than ever. Because we need that type of mind and brain and those ideas to remind all of us that something is worth it. A song is worth it. When you put on a song like what you wrote, like Flare, I mean, I don't want to keep going back to that. Like, it's your only amazing song, but it just was so impactful, and just like I said, with the whole video and everything, you're in the dark, and then the canoe or the boat's kind of in the light, and like, it's just all of these beautiful messages. And so it's imperative that people like yourself stay inspired and continue the task of creation, because we need it the earth needs it
as a species.
Society needs it. Community needs it. The earth needs it, so just thank you for sharing all of your music and continuing to do it, even with a thorn in your side about it, I'm sure it's not easy, because we, our perspective is we're just watching everybody doing this and like loving it and seeing it being hard on them, and still they're doing it. Right.
Yeah. You just, it's the challenges, you just have to make it through those. Yeah. It doesn't get easier. It really doesn't. But I still want to keep going,
Yeah, man. Cause look, you've been a musician so long, and then this song comes out, like, way, way into your career, and it's still feeding people.
Yeah, man.
It didn't. The magic didn't go away just because of the length of time you've been doing it. It's like sweet.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I mean, hopefully I get better as I go.
I think you are.
I
think you're there, man.
Well, and then this is like exciting. What is the release date of the new
full
album?
Yeah.
It's February 9th.
Okay. We're almost there. And then you got a pretty good tour there. And again, I was just going to say back to that thank you for including the Pacific Northwest, because we get it. We talk to a lot of bands. It's tough doing Pacific Northwest because towns are so far apart. But when I looked at your touring schedule, I was like, he's giving love to all of us.
Yeah.
So, I love it. Yeah, I love it up there, first of all. And then the record was recorded in Seattle. So I got to get up there and play some shows and get to see, Phil Ack, who produced it, and hang out. And I love it up there. I'm excited to make the trip. I know some of those drives I'll be questioning my life decisions or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you see the beauty, and I mean, you said, you're connected very much to the wildlife, and that up here, that's the reason we moved from Vegas to up here, so we could have seasons and live somewhere,
see something alive.
Yes.
Please. All right. So before we go, I'm going to ask you a question that has nothing to do with anything. You ready?
Okay.
All right. Cool.
I hope I'm ready.
Yeah. So it's a Saturday morning and you don't have to do anything that day, right? And you get up. What's the thing that you most want for breakfast?
Oh gosh. Okay. You know what? I love breakfast.
Me too.
Breakfast is my favorite meal. And I love like a good breakfast sandwich is like the best. If I can find a good, what's that?
What's on it?
It could be like an egg and cheese biscuit that somebody made, or just like, just a really simple breakfast sandwich and a good cup of coffee. And that's,
you're good.
Good cup of coffee.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, breakfast for dinner rules.
Yes.
We do that every once in a while there, because breakfast for dinner is just like, yes.
I'm hungry
Yeah.
If you need somewhere to lay your head when you're coming through Portland, brother, we'd
we'd love to host you or anything you need.
That's fantastic. Thank you guys.
Yeah, I make great coffee, by the way.
He does.
All right. That's awesome.
We're pretty good at breakfast sandwiches too.
Well, Tyler, I hate to ask this, but where can people go to find out everything about you?
What is your social media?
Yeah, we got to get them on there.
No, I appreciate that. I've done the work there, so it's all there to be seen.
Yes.
Just getting more people to look at it.
Yeah.
So my website's tylerramsey.com. All the dates and everything, and links to buy tickets and stuff are on there, and links to buy pre-order the new record.
Okay.
Right.
And the older records too. But and then Instagram is really the main thing I keep up with. And I don't necessarily do that super well, but I'm trying. And I'm going to make sure that I'm getting I just changed my Instagram page name to Tyler Ramsey Music.
Okay. All those, the links to all of that will be in the show notes for all of you listening. So just go click on the show notes and you can follow those links and go follow him on Instagram and buy the album and do all the things.
Before you leave, Tyler, this is a random request, but if you could sum up your new album with one of the lyrics that you've written for it.
Ooh.
What would it be?
Tall order.
I know it's a tall order.
That is, gosh, I'm thinking about that one that just came out. These Ghosts has a lot of what I've been feeling lately in it. And it's like shedding a lot of things that I carried around for a long time and trying to finally drop them and leave them behind, But I don't know the line. Maybe it would be like, there's a line in there that I liked. It's the pain in your head is just the smoke from a fire that burned out a long time ago.
Oh wow!
And there's nothing that's left there except for coals. and those are going cold. So it's like just saying like, yeah, just let it, let that pass and let that go. And
That's beautiful.
I don't know.
Maybe that's
good.
Man. That was perfect.
Yeah.
That was
I love
perfect.
it.
Right on. Well, go enjoy the kids and your wife and the day. And thanks for hanging out with us, Tyler. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah, you guys, thanks so much. And when you make it to Asheville, come visit me too.
Absolutely.
Yes, you got it. I will pass my number on to M for you.
Yeah, do it.
Okay,
do
man.
it.
Right
All
on,
right,
brother.
man. We got a hot
Thanks
date,
so much
April
for talking
2nd.
We'll see you soon, man.
Right on. Thank you, Tyler.
Later. Wow. That's a cool cat right there. That is one down to earth, hip son of a gun. You coming back, Mel? You with me? Where are you at? You're looking at toast.
Listen, we're all getting a little bit better. And now this is like the draining portion of my sickness. And all of you can imagine, my lovely, stuffy sounding, nasally voice today. It's draining. And it was kind of hard for an hour and 5 minutes to keep it in.
Hey, you know what?
But I did.
You did a good job.
I did.
Tyler is amazing.
There's some people that you can just tell that they have this wealth of power in them. And like, it's almost scary to prod it because it feels like a dragon once it, yes.
Yeah.
Kind of like, like Neil Casal.
Yeah.
There's this like quiet, but very like strong.
There's a forest
energy.
fire burning.
Yeah.
In there.
And then you ask them one deep question and boom, you're going to and that's what it felt like talking to Tyler. Like there's this, you just wait for it. You ask the right question and this energy is going to come at you.
I feel like he is a extremely old soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that, those eyes tell a really poignant story. And I think that the music really does genuinely reflect the person.
That's
in a really, really beautiful way.
That's how I felt with him the moment he came on scene. He's a very thoughtful person,
Yes.
just like his music is. You can
Yes.
see he doesn't just, it doesn't just come out of his mouth. It's all thought over, and that was really cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to do. And it's not that I haven't heard his whole album, but it's not easy to do sad. Very like that's your theme or that's your
I don't think
vibe.
it's sad. I think it's hopeful.
But
It's sad and hopeful.
It is sad though. It is sad. There's like the minor, in there that minor.
But there's the resolution to the major
of
too.
Of course, but
Yeah.
the tone of it is kind of like
Maudlin.
sad, but there's sometimes where you're like, oh, I can't listen to this because it's too much. This is like, because it has resolution, it has this like progressive feeling that you can hear it, and like perfect music for when you need to cry, like when you need to get it out, and like you need that resolution yourself, and you want to not stay sad, but you just need to like
Get it out.
Yeah, I need help moving it, and I feel like his music does that, and it's great for right now.
And how he's talking about his friend that did the new videos for Flair
Parker.
and these ghosts.
Parker
like,
Fisher.
he found the right person
Oh yeah.
to capture
The mood.
the lighting, everything, because it has that kind of despair, but there's a hopefulness in it too, especially Flair when he's out there. You see it on his face as he's playing live acoustically from a rowboat. Like, it just comes across, like you see it on his face, all of a sudden kind of like a smile, and the light hits him right, and it really conveys that hope within the despair. Like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
That's why I
Like,
asked him that question of like, do you consider yourself a hopeful person? And that answer was great. Like I don't have the luxury of being.
I love that he said that, because I was thinking that too. I was like, he better, because
He's
he's a
got
dad.
kids. Yeah, you got kids, man. It's
well, and especially to you two, his answer about that with the kids. That's one thing that you two always did for your kids.
Yeah.
And which also included me a lot of the time of playing with them and being their
It's
friend
still
and having
important to
fun.
me.
Yeah, they had that, and they're passing that on.
Yeah.
Definitely.
My number one thing as a parent was fun.
Yeah.
Like, not at the expense of anything, but like that's my goal. I want to have fun in life. What the hell else are we here for?
Well, and your kids too. I remember that they were it was fun doing TV time, but they'd get burned out on it.
Yeah, they're like,
and
I'm
then
done.
it'd be outside. Okay, pool time now. Let's go play. That was enough SpongeBob.
Let's go walk Earl. Let's go walk over to Grandpa's.
We watched 3 episodes of SpongeBob. I'm done. Let's play with each other.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, what have we learned today? Community is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tyler Ramsey's awesome.
Yep.
Be in your imagination because that's where the magic comes from.
That's
Asheville's dope, and No Simple Road has to go visit there.
If you're in the Pacific Northwest, Tyler is coming through. So
April
go see
2nd.
In April.
What else? Breakfast sandwiches and good coffee are the best thing ever.
And
also for dinner.
Solitude is not a bad thing. It's a great
healing.
reset.
Yeah.
So that's that. I hope everybody digs it. Do go see Tyler if he comes through your town. Go follow him on socials and let him know he's doing a good job. and follow us if you don't. And we will be back on Monday with another No Simple Road weekly rewind. Why did I pick a name?
It's like
it's so fucking hard to say.
It's like a tongue twister.
The No Simple Rewind.
We can change it. It's the 2024. We can change the name to something that's easier on the tongue.
Oh,
Recap.
no,
No Simple Road.
We're not recapping shit.
Are we recapping our week?
I like to hear you struggle with your words.
I kind of like
the
it.
week's recap.
I'm enjoying the struggle
All
too.
right,
Yeah.
fine.
Anyway,
the struggle is real.
Then don't complain about the show.
I love y'all.
All right.
You know what? This week, smile at a stranger. Take care of each other. Safety third. Hydrate. And
Check on your friends that live in cold places.
Cold places. Yes.
And listen to Tyler.
There you go. Love y'all. Peace.
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hell means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A=A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
The number you have reached is 100.7 WMMS.
It wasn't just a radio station, it was a lifestyle.
Cleveland is a rock and roll city for sure.
Get down! The Wrath of the Buzzard. WMMS. Cleveland.
The rise and fall of one of the most iconic radio stations in America. Profiles, The Wrath of the Buzzard. PROH Files. Subscribe now wherever you get podcasts.